We're in a series of lectures this year. Each year there's a basic theme. This theme, with 12 punctuated increments representing the 12 months of the year, the director's lecture first Saturday of each month. This year the theme is the best evidence I know for creation. So I'm going to give you one of those lectures today. This fall, one of my guests will be Dr. Jerry Bergman. I wish he were here today. Dr. Bergman is our publishing biologist for the biosphere. Ron Pugh is our resident biologist. He's an award-winning Taylor University graduate in biology. And he was here this morning. He lives here. He moved to Glen Rose to help run the biosphere once it's online. Dr. Jerry Bergman has 9 college degrees in science, and a number of those in microbiology, biology, and anatomy. And he understands microbes forward and backward. He's lectured on them for decades. Larry gave me some information outside a few minutes ago. Larry, would you please give that to our friends? Would you welcome Dr. Larry Mitchum?
There are 2 topics of discussion here that come into play, and one is obviously evolution. And the evolutionists like to confuse the 2 issues. One is evolution, the other is origins. In other words, where did life come in the first place? Now, it's one thing to take something and play like it changed or modified and became something else. It's another thing to say something became a living creature out of something that was not. And I believe that's the focal of today's lecture. And he asked me to say a couple of things about that. Recently, new information has come out about this because tremendous strides have been made in the study of life itself and what it takes to make life and how complex it really is. We had an analogy of talking about big numbers. And I have a lot of mathematical background. I'm an engineer with several degrees and 243 undergraduate hours and a lot of math courses. We talk about big numbers, and a lot of people can't relate to something like 10 to the 40th power or something like that. Number of electrons in the universe. Number of electron sockets in the universe. That's places where an electron could go. 10 to the 80th power. People can't really relate to that. But you can relate to things like grains of sand. How many grains of sand are there on the seashore? How many grains of sand on the planet? How many grains of sand if you covered the entire earth with sand? If you filled the earth with sand? If you filled the sun with sand? And I'm shortening this down, obviously, to a 3-minute fit here. What if you fill the universe with sand? Not the solar system, not the Milky Way, not our galaxy, the universe with sand. Well, that number, I'll skip to the punchline, it's 10 to the 96th power. Okay, it seems small, seems benign, safe, right? What if you had 10 universes? Well, that number is, I know, 10 universes. That number is 10 to the 97th power. You see how big things jump up when you get exponential like that? Multiply it by 10, you only add 1 and to the 10th power exponent. So when you talk about something that's 10 to the 140th power, or something crazy like 140,000th power, I mean, it's mind-blowing, right? Recent research has learned the odds of life originating, and we're not talking about a protein molecule, not talking about DNA, not talking about a single strand or some building block, some amino acid, like the TV program we did about 10 years ago on this stuff, talking about a whole creature and all the stuff we have around us today. They have come up with this number. 10, you got to take a deep breath for this.
Yeah, one chance.
One chance. One chance.
In 10 to.
In 10 to the 340 millionth power.
Wow.
Now, because of this, you'll see the higher circles are backing away from spontaneous origins of life, from some sort of a Big Bang explosion, and they're coming into something they call panspermia.
Yeah.
Life out there somehow came here. So you're going to hear more of this in the future. Your kids are going to bring that home in their textbooks sooner or later. But they've come up with this thing where they've discovered all the things you see, all the fossils around, including the phylum Chordata, that things with a spine, like most of us. Those things all happened, according to them now, at one time. It's called the Cambrian explosion. They had to invent a word to go with it, but in the Cambrian layer, the bottom layer, they are learning that all the fossils can be found in that one layer alone, which really comes back around to our book.
Yes.
Which is
Yes.
pretty much my 3-minute pitch.
Let's give a real hand to Dr. Larry Mitchum.